I'm Annabelle Daniel, the Chief Executive of Women's Community Shelters, and we've got another bumper newsletter for you this month with all the details down below. And firstly, I'd like to kick off by acknowledging that May is Domestic and Family Violence Prevention Month, and so it's an incredibly important month in our calendar. Australia is at a turning point in how we respond to domestic and family violence. We have a new national plan to end violence against women and their children, which is currently in development, and we look forward to seeing measurable targets being added to that plan over the next few years so that we can truly address domestic and family violence in Australia over the next decade. There are also many initiatives happening at the local, state and federal level to address domestic and family violence, and we seek to move forward to make sure that no more lives are lost to this insidious epidemic. Just last week I had the opportunity to attend the launch of the new Core and Cluster investment in new refuges in New South Wales. This is a really significant announcement that I had the honour of being at the launch of in October last year, and now New South Wales is moving forward with its biggest investment in domestic and family violence crisis services in history. So for the first few years, what this will involve is actually building new refuges on what's called a core and cluster model, which is basically that each living unit is provided to women and children with a level of independence, and there's a core of services which will support them in that refuge. So very important movement towards more services for women and children across New South Wales, and Women's Community Shelters is very much looking forward to being a part of that. This month we say a fond farewell to our chair, Chris Neal, who has been with Women's Community Shelters on the board since the very beginning. It's been an absolute delight to work with Chris over the last 5 years, and we wish her every success in her next endeavours, which are very exciting. We'd also like to welcome Julie White as chair. Julie has also been involved with Women's Community Shelters since the beginning and has a wealth of experience across the philanthropic and business sectors. I'm very much looking forward to working with Julie in her capacity as chair, and extend my huge thanks to both. One of the other roles that I hold is chair of the peak body for domestic and family violence services in New South Wales, which is called Domestic Violence New South Wales. And just last week we had the opportunity to attend the 2-day conference hosted by Domestic Violence New South Wales, and we attended as a team with wonderful staff members and shelter managers there, and it was fantastic to see a variety of speakers, to meet with our sector colleagues and to reconnect, re-energise and redesign, which was the theme of the conference. It's been quite a few years since we've been able to be together in person, and it was fantastic to be able to come together as a sector and discuss our future. We also note that May is the time for Reconciliation Week, which begins on the 27th of May. It's always been incredibly important to us at Women's Community Shelters that we walk alongside Aboriginal women, children and men in all that we do, and work with Aboriginal people in the communities where we establish new shelters and services. The theme is Be Brave, Make Change, and we seek to do that every day. And it would be remiss of me to finish by not mentioning that we're coming up to the end of the financial year. Women's Community Shelters is a charity that is reliant on community support and your donations to be able to do what we do. And over the course of the next 12 months, we'd like to work towards establishing another 30,000 safe bed nights for women and children. And you can help us do that with donations from as little as $2 all the way up to the bigger figures. We would welcome your support this end of financial year. Thank you.